out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Pack the bags. Start the plane. This game is over.
Hey y'all, I'm back with another Sports House Media Reacts video. And this week, I want to focus on the Lions and Matt Patricia being gone and what that means for the Lions organization and what that means going forward for what kind of coaches are going to be here. So it's very interesting because we see Matt Patricia's gone, right? The GM's gone. But who's going to replace him, right? So that's what we want to talk about. Talk about who's going to replace him and what Matt Patricia did wrong and what we want to see out of the next Lions head coach. So the Matt Patricia stats obviously are not that great, okay? He led the team to fourth place in the NFC North 2 times and now probably a third, right? He was gifted a 9-7 team by Jim Caldwell, the coach before, and now he has turned the team into a sorry excuse for a football team, okay? He was 13-29-1 as a head coach. He actually had no losses in the playoffs. I mean, that's a W. And, he tried to make a New England dynasty in Michigan, and it didn't work. That's what him and Quinn did, the GM, tried to do, and that's why they're both gone. Because the thing is in Detroit, they need to do it the Detroit way, and that's what we're going to talk about. Especially because, Matt Patricia made all these mistakes, right? He traded away key players, Quandre Diggs, Darius Slay, because he was supposed to be a defensive guru, right? He knew more. He knew better than the Detroit fans. He wanted to get rid of Quandre Diggs. He wanted to get rid of Slay. It's 2 of our best secondary guys, right? And what we've seen is that he's just another Belichick assistant that is awful, okay? You look at Belichick assistants' records being 208 and 296, okay? That is terrible. When you look at somebody like Andy Reid, or other coaches with a much better coaching tree. I mean, come on, 208, 296. Guys that come off Belichick, assistants to Belichick, do not do well, most likely. Most of the time. Okay? So I think the Lions are hoping for something more, right? They had a franchise that was 9-7, okay? And then the ownership said, hey, we want to take that next step. After Jim Caldwell for 3 years, 2 of those years he made the playoffs. That is one of the best coaches ever in Detroit Lions football right there. That he took, already 3 years. That's all he needed, and he's one of the best. That's how bad this organization is, and that's how bad it feels now knowing that the Fords wanted him out for whatever reason, right? Because they believed in Quinn. They believed in this New England way, okay? Well, the New England way didn't work. So the Lions are going to need to look for something different here. And I think that the Lions are looking for that guy to finally turn this franchise into a fan base where there's winning culture, winning teams. Players want to come to Detroit because let's look at it. Right now, no one wants to go play in Detroit. That's the thing. It's so hard to get free agents, and that needs to change because that's the only way this team is going to get better. So if they can put a team on the field that can win some games and compel some people to come there, that's when it can happen. But with what Matt Patricia was doing, nobody wants to go play for him. Especially with what the things have come out with Darius Slay have said and lots of other players saying that was no fun, way too serious, and just didn't want to play for their coach. If a football team doesn't want to play for their coach, then they've already lost. Right? So let's look at some head coaching candidates. I got 3 here. Obviously, there's a lot, There's going to be a lot, and it's definitely possible that it couldn't be one of these 3 or even I think I have 6 listed here. It couldn't be one of these, It's very possible they go for a different person. They could go college. They could go NFL. They could go assistant coach. They could go QB coach. You don't know, right? At the end of the day, we can always speculate who the next head coach is going to be, but there's a couple guys that are most likely. So the number one candidate for the Detroit Lions is Robert Saleh, okay? Defensive coordinator for the 49ers. He has been incredible for the 49ers. In 3 years, he's made the 49ers defense, which was in 2017 was 32nd ranked. He's turned them into the 9th ranked defense. Okay, born and raised in Dearborn, Michigan. Coached at Michigan State, went to high school in Michigan. And the funny part about this, too, is Michigan legislators actually wrote a letter to the Lions organization about hiring Saleh. and that the majority of them wanted to hire Saleh because he's the homegrown guy. You look at an interview with Richard Sherman last week, they asked him about it. Obviously, the coach isn't going to comment on it, but they asked Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman said, hey, that's the hometown hero right there, you know? And that's what I think is the most valuable for Detroit, because they don't want a guy like Matt Patricia coming from New England and is like, oh, we want to make it the New England way. No. They want it to be the Detroit way. And most likely this Robert Saleh, guys, he's going to be, you know, he was probably a Lions fan. You know, this is what he wants to be. He wants to be the head coach of the Lions. I mean, imagine growing up and being the head coach of the team that you supported, right? So you're going to have more heart. You're going to have more heart than any other coach, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get him to make a Detroit way in Detroit, you know, because I think that's what's needed for the Lions. Second head coaching candidate is a little bit of a wild card. You know, this one's coming from college, though. We're going to take Jim Harbaugh. Okay, hear me out. You know, he's in Ann Arbor right now, not doing so hot. Okay, 2-4. Michigan's 2-4 right now. Not too far down the road from Detroit, and obviously he's had a good coaching career, honestly, until this year, right? If you look back in time, you look at 2011. He took the Niners from a losing team, a losing record, and turned them into 13-3 and brought them to the NFC Championship that year in 2011. This is honestly the dream. That's the dream for the Lions fans, is they want a coach that can come in and instantly turn a 4-win, 5-win Lions team into a 10-11-win team that can make the playoffs, right? Jim Harbaugh's shown that he can do this. As an NFL head coach, he was 49-22-1. I mean, you look at that, 49-22-1. Matt Patricia's record, 13-29-1, right? Much different, okay? You know, he's had success all of his coaching careers, other than this year, honestly, And he could still turn it around, you know? We don't know. But I would not be surprised if he's let go by Michigan this year, and I would not be surprised if he's somehow coaching in the Detroit Lions organization. Next, the hottest candidate on the market. Every single team who's going to get a new head coach wants this guy. His name is Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator. This is why the Chiefs win Super Bowls, right? Because of guys like him. He's been the Chiefs offensive coordinator for about 8-9 years now, and he's turned the Chiefs into the best offense in the NFL. I mean, hands down, right? You could say that he helped groom Mahomes to what he is to be right now. But, I mean, obviously, Mahomes is Mahomes. You know, they got a great draft pick, but how much of that falls on the coach and how much of that falls on Mahomes, we won't know. But at the same time, it's not just Mahomes. It's all the weapons they have, right? Week in and week out, the Chiefs are making plays that no one else does, okay? And that is in part to Eric Bieniemy. We look at the Andy Reid coaching tree, usually pretty solid. Okay, his record is 382-353, winning record, all of his coaching tree altogether. The most wanted guy on the market, though. So this one for me is a lot harder to see the Lions getting, as, you know, why would you go play in Detroit whenever, say, you could go live in New York, right? You could go live in LA if the Chargers fire their coach. You know, there's a lot of other options for Bieniemy, and we don't even know if he's going to leave, but I just think it'll be very tough for the Lions. It'll be very, very tough for the Lions to get him, in my opinion. You know, they don't have a lot of pull, right? That's why I see Saleh a much better choice, because he actually, I feel like, has more of a want to be in Detroit, right? I don't think Eric Bieniemy has any want to be in Detroit. Let's be honest, okay? But I think he's probably the best coaching candidate of anyone in the league right now. He's the most deserving, in my opinion. He's done a great job. And there's a couple honorable mentions because obviously there's lots of guys the Lions are going to interview, you know, and so here's a couple of them, right? We have Brian Daboll, the Bills offensive coordinator. What he's done with Josh Allen, been really good. Getting in using weapons like Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, stuff like that. Matt Eberflus, the Colts defensive coordinator, which is a pick that I actually really like. I think that the only way that the Lions are going to get better is if they have a defensive coach, right? The offense can be there. I think if the defense can shape up to be just move from what the Lions defense is around 29th, 30, 31st ranked in the NFL, somewhere around there, depending on the ranks you look at. if they could just move up to 20th, right? Move up 10 spots. Obviously, that's huge. But if they can move up, they would be very close to being like an 8-8, 9-7 team, in my opinion. It's just that their defense is so bad. So I think a defensive coach would definitely help the Lions, especially when you have your franchise quarterback in Matthew Stafford, right? And then we have Arthur Smith, the Titans offensive coordinator. And those are the other honorable mentions that I thought of. But who knows when the new GM will be hired and when the GM decides what GM he is going to decide what head coach the Lions get, because that's what's going to decide it all. But we're still waiting on that. We don't know when that's going to come. Most likely right after the season ends. Right now they have Darrell Bevell as the head coach, interim head coach of the offensive coordinator for the year. And, I think that's the best pick, because when you look at one thing that the Lions do well, they're not great at offense, but they do it well enough. They're middle of the pack offense, right? They're not bad. They're not great, okay? With a good defense, they could be great. I think that's really what it comes down to. A better O-line and a better defense could be a team on the up. But that's a lot of things. A lot of things need to happen. The Lions are probably years out from being good. So that's all I had to say. I want to get your thoughts on who you think the next Lions quarterback. Hey, maybe Matthew Stafford's out. But next head coach for the Lions. Maybe even the next GM. Who knows? I'll see y'all.